Austin Hargrave, more well known by his online alias Peanut Butter Gamer, and even more known by his acronym of his online alias PBG, which means Peanut Butter Game. The past 4 years, he has created Zelda Month, a series on his channel where during the entire month of November, he dedicates his content to the Legend of Zelda franchise. Now, it's November, and he has decided to take a break from Zelda Month to make this November a Mario Month. However, in this same announcement video, he has also said that he wanted us to make some Zelda Month content, as he still wants the trend to stay strong, and for more people to get involved into the franchise and help Zelda Month grow, like he wanted it to be. Now it's my turn to make some Zelda Month content to keep the same trend alive. The funny thing about this is that I've played pretty much every mainstream Zelda game, but however, there's one game I played through the end, the Nintendo DS's Phantom Hourglass, probably considered one of the worst Zelda games of the franchise, and if not, the game got mixed reviews from fans. Whether it be pretty good as a game but bad for Zelda standards, touchscreen controls turn people off, horrible because of the Temple of the Ocean King, or just bad, but better than its sequel Spirit Tracks. Well, let's begin with the game. This is my first PBG/Space Hamster-esque video, so please bear with me and I hope you enjoy. The way I'll be doing this type of review is kinda just talking about the more important parts of the story, talk about the game more and what it has to offer, and then back to the story. Spoilers beware. I accept constructive criticism in the comments below if you have any, thanks. When you create your save file, you're given a name prompt, which means you can name Link whatever you want. First thing I see when you enter a game, I'm greeted with a sort of story about a man in green defeating a big bad pig who kidnapped a princess who rules a- Wait, these are the wrong that's better. And as the camera zooms out, I met Nico, one of the crew members on the ship I'm on. I'm then introduced to the other crew members, including Tetra, the captain of the ship, that will definitely share no importance to the story in more ways than one whatsoever. Tetra fills the player in about the ghost ship, a spooky ship that roams the seas and kidnaps unsuspecting prey. Tetra, however, isn't afraid of the big bad ship, thinking it's some pirates pulling a prank on others, and she was going to get to the bottom of that, as well as grab any treasure that's on the ship. What? Heck, it's the ghost ship! So Tetra mounts the ghost ship, and what do you know? Lightning, screaming, and the ghost ship starts moving. Wait, the ghost ship is moving! Naturally, Link, out of all the pussies on the ship, decides to pursue the ship that kidnapped this totally unimportant character. Sadly, he can't jump very far, and you die. And then Tetra dies. And then Nico dies. And now I'm here. This fairy was definitely called Navi checks and sees if you're awake and then talks about her grandpa. She takes me to his house without consent and you meet the old man Oshus. He then tells Link to give up on his dreams because the ghost ship is scary. Okay. Of course, I completely ignore his warning and then Navi tells me to go steal his sword. He finds out though and sees something inside Link's somewhat 12-year-old body that he can probably kill a haunted ghost ship and also probably several hundred beasts. Probably. He turns him up into a super swordsman, which is obviously safe for a little boy. Before he realizes what he has done, he tells you to go find a sailor named Linebeck who will take you across the sea and aid you during your trials. You can quote me on this one. So I begin my adventure. That's a bridge. That's a bridge. And it's broken. A broken bridge. My adventure begins to save this captain from doom, and to do this, the player must chase a mouse around the cave to get a key.
Technology.
So at this point, I should probably talk about the mechanics. Instead of using the D-pad, or any control stick, you are controlling Link using your stylus, and dragging it on your touchscreen to guide Link or interact with things. It's also used to use your sword with certain different swipes. The battle mechanics aren't its strongest point, but the game focuses more on the puzzles anyway. The touchscreen mechanic of this game is actually really cool, like when you use bomb chews, which are bombs that you can guide using a path created with your stylus, or use the boomerang, which lets you control where it's going to go. However, I'm using an emulator to be able to screen record the footage you see here, and this game is damn near impossible with a mouse without the need of wanting to die! Fortunately, I can use a touchscreen computer to get all my footage, so this should be a breeze. Yeah! Go, Link! After getting through the first cave, Link is now on the hunt for Linebeck. He's not guarding his ship at the dock, so I go into the milk bar, which I think is just Japanese for let's get smashed in a children's game. He was there, but Link just missed him. Apparently, he went out to the Temple of the Ocean King, a cursed temple that drains the life out of you if you stay there too long. And according to fan reviews, literally drains the life out of you if you stay there too long. Completely ignoring that last part, Link makes his way to the temple anyways. Huh. It looks cursed, but is it really? I wonder what happened the last time some unsuspecting fool entered a cursed area despite being told the rumors. Entering the temple, Link finally encounters Linebeck trapped in between a couple spikes, saying he sprained his ankle and couldn't get himself out. So I help him out and he sprints out of there like a rabbit. Okay. And I grab some treasure along the way. Exiting the temple triggers a cutscene of Linebeck taking your map, Navi arguing about the map, him offering his ship for you, and now you can progress in the story. Ashas meets you near Linebeck's tiny ship and asks you to scratch your map, which reveals an emblem? So Link is now headed to Ember Island, which is where the emblem is placed on, where you shall find the first fairy. Starting from here is where the game starts to get interesting. It wouldn't really be a Zelda game without its puzzle, and Phantom Hourglass has its fair share of it. Temples are in this game too, such as the one on the Island of Ember, where you hit switches and go through certain puzzles to make your way towards the boss room. The puzzles become more creative the farther in the game you are, for having to decipher patterns to unlock a door, to having to rearrange Easter Island ripoffs all around a temple. Classic tools such as the bomb, boomerang, grappling hook, and bow and arrow return in the game, with new ways to use them.
Okay, maybe not the bomb, but you get the point.
But I'm done all the beginner tutorials, so now I can actually play the game and explore the islands. First, before you can go anywhere, you have to find Astrid, a fortune teller that will tell you where to go next. She's apparently trapped in her own basement, making the player find 3 torches around the island so you can free her, and then you find her dead assistant on the way. Who needs PUBG when you have Phantom Hourglass? Best game ever. 11 out of 10. No questions.
Oh. Game of the year has to, be in the same year.
Okay. I save Astrid and go move on to the first temple. And the first temple is a fire temple with hot fire! After defeating the first boss, which was fucking painful to do on a computer, I make my way back to the ocean temple to search for my next clue. So remember when I said I got so scared of the game I wanted to sell it? Well, here's why. Phantoms! The fact that they alarm you with red flashing lights and it's terrifying music and they hit you if you're dead! That pressure didn't settle well with me. Well, I was able to make my way through the maze and obtain the northwestern map. Heading back to the port, I have to blow on my map because for some reason, there's sand on the map after I ran, somersaulted, and anything that would completely blow sand away off a goddamn map. This is so hacking impossible with an emulator. Link sees his next clue, meaning he has to get to the northwestern part of the world, so we're off. And now we really are off. Stop. So realizing this, Linebeck decides to go through the other side of the map, but that area is blocked by a bunch of rocks. Sidetracking my route over to a very ironic and appropriately named island, I go through the entire goddamn island to find the cannon maker, because he has his workshop closed when he's working, but the back door isn't closed! Okay. After buying the cannon, I exit through the other end and the door is deceased! Damn, Link. If I knew you could do that, we could have just avoided going around the fucking island and we could have been like, hey! And then Edward would go, what? And Link, no, you won't be screwing around. You can just go, I want a cannon. Having a cannon now means monsters can attack us at sea. Or we can angrily provoke animals at sea. Because on the ScraggyKing20 channel, we strive for equality. If we have to kill monsters, we should kill the passive monsters too. That sounded better in my head. You can hit jellyfish for rupees. You can get frogs for this random thing that lets you teleport places. You can hit rocks, which is what we will do so we can progress through the story. If I haven't talked about this yet, I should bring it up now. Your maps will be super useful in this game. You have some freedom on what maps you can write on. For example, you can't write on this map, but you can on this one. And you can note down whatever you want. Note down some routes, note down some secret passages, some messages, some treasure chest locations, and even draw an entire goddamn uncharted map on your own! Once I got through the rocks, Link suddenly sees the ghost ship. Naturally, I chase after it with my trusty old man sword at my hip and a shitty shield I bought at a really sketchy store. Losing it in the fog, I detour to the nearest island, which just happens to have a map that guides us through this random puzzle that I guess the fog has something to do with? because fog teleports you back to the beginning? But first, I have to go to Molida Island, tell this guy that his dad didn't leave him and his family, contrary to every "my dad left me" meme ever, and he'll have this map that guides you through the fog. You know, I'll just go through the tornadoes again. I can maybe get through them eventually. Now that I passed the rock puzzle, I can now make it to the Island of Gust, where the second fairy is located. The puzzles are more creative, such as the bomb one at the entrance, which didn't work for me the first time. The boss is really easy, and the boss explodes into a giant pillar of sand. What? Wait. I could just grab the hourglass, steal the life essence of a creature I just killed, and now I can last longer in the Temple of the Ocean King? So when I fought Blast, the master of hecking fire, I lost 2 extra minutes to the hour. I'm done. This game is bad. So now I make my way back to Marseille Island, which definitely won't get annoying after a couple more of this, and I can enter deeper in the temple using my new tools to make my way down the temple faster, and then, this is probably the vaguest puzzle I have ever faced. Your map is on the bottom, and the big weird sun map is on the top. And that's all she wrote. What am I supposed to do? Draw on my map? Scratch my map? Osh, my dude, where are you? And can you help me, please? After looking through literally everywhere on the internet, I see that the game goes blank, and then the crest is on your map now. What? So, I thought resetting the game would help, since that would mean my screen would work too. However, to get to this area on the map, I need the salvage arm. Much more screaming later and I get the salvage arm, which lets me play a minigame called Don't Hit Things or Else You'll Die. Not dying, I get the sun key, which means I have to go back to Molida Island, fight some random boss in the sea, and then hit the Easter Island statues, and now I'm in the Temple of Courage. The puzzles in this temple are really cool, like the invisible floor section, and the section where you can guide a stepping stone with a path on your map, which requires the bow and arrow you get in this temple. But the boss is definitely cooler than the last two. Heck, almost every boss in this game has something creative about them and makes it all fresh and exciting. Blast has you use the boomerang to collect all 3 little versions of him in a specific order to make him whole and vulnerable. And this boss, Crake, is invisible. NANI? The game gives you the point of view of the boss on the top screen, and you have to make sure you aim at him correctly with the bow before he hits you. Suddenly, the spirit of courage flutters down, a little lifeless, and even Link looks as confused as you are, and that's when you know you fucked up somewhere. Out at the port of the island, Oshus tells you that Navi is actually Ciela and was never referred to as Navi in the first place. I couldn't tell since my eyes don't focus on clone. And Ciela is actually the spirit of courage. Plot twist! So beating Crake means back to the Temple of the Ocean King for you, which is definitely turning into one of the flaws of the game. But before that, you were stopped by Lineback's crazy ex-girlfriend, which gets you mounted if you suck! Oh no. Oh no, I suck. Beating Jolene now marks her on the map, and you'll get assaulted if you get too close to her. One of the cool secrets I never knew until now doing research is that south of Molida Island is another island which lets you use another fairy besides Ciela, and you can use Leaf, which makes your sword into a burning super death sword! However, this is only if you have 10 of the 3 types of gems scattered around the world, and I don't have that. And I don't have the time for that, so let's move on. Next, I set out back to the foggy part of the northwestern sea, and the 3 spirits I have gathered can now track down the ghost ship. The ghost ship is a dungeon itself, which also carries spooky, scary secrets. After some searching, I encountered a little girl who definitely doesn't give me a creepy vibe. Haha, what are you talking about? She claims herself as one of the 4 Cubist sisters, and asks of you to find the remaining 3 of her sisters and reuniting them as one big family. But the fucking Cubist sisters can honestly suck my wallowee because this is the most aggravating part of the game for me. All of the Cubist sisters are scared of the spiders, and when she sees them, she screams, and it's horrible, so I have to kill the spider and then talk to her every single time. And depending on which Cubist sister you're saving, it gets worse. And if you go too far, you have to go back because she's scared too. Hey, what are you doing in the middle of that fire where the mobs aren't killing you? Oh, I wonder why. Maybe it's because you're evil. On one of the floors of the ghost ship, I encountered a Reaper, which is a phantom, but scarier. I mean, it has a super death scythe, and it goes through walls, and it's going to eat your soul, and I just don't like it. Eventually, I found one of the Cubist sisters, which makes things even harder, because there's a Reaper on the loose, and I have to take her to safety without getting caught. Now, there were 2 treasure chests in a section of the floor, and the Cubist sister tells me to pick the left one. Doing doing so, I'm greeted with a Rupor, which takes away 10 rupees from me and spawns another Reaper in the goddamn room, you motherfucker. Joyce was right. Woman bad, men good. Woman bad, men good. Woman bad, men good. The last Cupid's sister was even worse, cause when there's a spider, all of the Reapers come to me, cause she screams. But then when all of them are reunited, they turn out to be the diabolical Cupid sisters and try to kill me. I mean, come on! I just reunited you with your family because you were all lost and scared, and I, being the good boy I am, tried to help you. Oh, I get it. No, no. This triggers a ping-pong-like fight with the sisters, which they call Dead Man's Volley. And remember when I said most boss fights were fun and creative? This one isn't. It's honestly boring, long, and tedious. It's just so long, just so the boss's boss fight length. And then after defeating them, a cutscene triggers. This is where the big serious plot comes to play, where Tetra is now stone, Limebeck actually has balls and comes down here, and Oshus the old man somehow gets over to the ghost ship for a nice vacation, and is actually the Ocean King in disguise, and then there's some hentai monster named Bellum who wants to eat the life force of people and stuff, and I guess that's cool. Now my new goal is to defeat Bellum and restore peace to the world, but before I can do that I have to get 3 more things, get a new sword, and go through the last half of the world map. Honestly, this is where the game starts to get good, minus the fact that you have more to do than just find the ghost ship, and then the main plot is pretty much completed, and then they add this whole thing last second. But the second half of the game is definitely the best part of the game in my opinion. Although I can see why not everyone will like the game, especially since it involves so much waiting for Phantoms and the Reapers to pass by, waiting around in safe zones, the boat sequences, and some puzzles like the bow and arrow one in the Temple of Courage. You're really testing my patience here, Nintendo. But we'll cover the last half in the next episode, because I talked enough. Once again, special thanks to Peanut Butter Gamer for Zelda Month and giving me the motivation to make this Zelda video. I'm not sure how well this will do as I'm still learning, but I do hope this video was funny or at least enjoyable for you guys. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you in part 2. Goodbye! This isn't even my final form.